Have you ever heard the story of Daniel in the lion's den and thought it was just a children's tale? Think again. This story goes much deeper than what we usually hear. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos filled with faith and inspiration. Now, let's dive into this powerful journey of courage and unwavering belief. Did you know that the story of Daniel in the lion's den goes far beyond what we usually hear? What led Daniel into such an extreme situation? What was the secret behind his unshakable faith? Watch until the end and discover surprising details about this journey of courage and belief. Daniel was a young man when he was taken captive to Babylon. He was part of Jerusalem's elite and was chosen to serve in King Nebuchadnezzar's palace. But do you think he allowed himself to be carried away by the pagan customs of that land? Not at all. Daniel kept his faith firm in God. With a life of constant prayer, Daniel stood out for his wisdom and integrity. This caught the attention of several kings, including Darius, who later became a great admirer of his. But the more Daniel stood out, the more enemies he made. Can you imagine what they plotted against him? Daniel's enemies knew he was faithful to God, and that nothing would make him break his principles. So they came up with a cunning plan. They convinced King Darius to sign a decree forbidding prayers to any god or man, except the king himself. Anyone who disobeyed would be thrown into the lion's den. And now? What would you do in such a situation? Daniel could have chosen to pray in secret, right? But that's not what he did. He kept praying with the windows open, just as he always had. His faith was not something to be hidden. He chose to risk his life rather than deny his relationship with God. It didn't take long for Daniel's enemies to catch him praying. They rushed to report it to King Darius. The king was devastated. He admired Daniel deeply, but he couldn't reverse his own decree. Can you imagine the weight of that decision for Darius? Eventually, Daniel was taken to the lion's den. The tension was immense. Before sealing the den, the king said, "May your God, whom you serve continually, rescue you." Do you believe this already showed a spark of faith in Darius's heart? The den was sealed, and a night full of anguish began. Imagine the darkness, the sound of lions growling around Daniel. And yet he remained at peace. What was the secret to such calmness? Total trust in the power and presence of God. Meanwhile, King Darius couldn't sleep. He fasted and anxiously waited for sunrise. As soon as the sun rose, he rushed to the lion's den and shouted, "Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God whom you serve continually been able to rescue you from the lions?" Do you think Daniel answered? To everyone's surprise, Daniel calmly replied, "My God sent his angel and he shut the mouths of the lions. They have not hurt me, because I was found innocent in his sight. Nor have I done any wrong before you, O king." What an incredible testimony of faith and divine protection. Darius was amazed and ordered Daniel to be removed from the den. There wasn't a single scratch on him. The king then issued a decree that everyone in his kingdom should revere the God of Daniel. It was a historic moment of recognition of God's sovereignty. And what about Daniel's enemies? They faced the very fate they had planned for him. They were thrown into the lion's den, and this time there was no deliverance. This teaches us that God is just and defends those who remain faithful to him. The story of Daniel in the lion's den teaches us many valuable lessons. The first is that constant faith in God strengthens us in times of crisis. The second is that God is faithful to protect and honor our obedience. Have you trusted God even in difficult times? Another powerful lesson is that our actions can impact others. Daniel's faith didn't just save his life. It led a king and an entire kingdom to recognize God's sovereignty. What impact has your faith had on the lives of those around you? This story also reminds us that God doesn't always rescue us from the problem, but he rescues us in the middle of the problem. Daniel was thrown into the den, but God was with him the entire time. Do you believe that God is with you in your struggles? If this message touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Comment below. Which lesson from Daniel's story inspired you the most? May God bless you, and remember, the next video might speak directly to your journey. See you there.